This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 14th day of April in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here is what we're tracking tonight. Tonight, the former legal counsel for the Guyana Elections Commission, Kurt De Silva, is threatening legal action against the chairman of the commission, retired Judge Claudette Singh, and the chief election officer, Vishnu Prasada. The legal action is being threatened if the two do not withdraw and correct what De Silva has described as the falsehoods against him that were dictated in two recent press statements from the commission. Last week, the GECOM chairman sided with the government-nominated commissioners in deciding not to renew the contract for the legal officer, citing his filings in the recent voter verification case. In defending its decision not to renew De Silva's contract, the Elections Commission said De Silva acted contrary to his duty as counsel for the commission by introducing new arguments that were contrary to the sworn position of the chief election officer in the recent case. But in a 12-page letter to the GECOM chair, Mr. De Silva said the statement from GECOM was replete with falsehoods and misleading statements about his professional conduct and the legal submissions. He said he was surprised and disheartened to see such inaccuracies published with the approval of the commission, when the commission was fully apprised of his submissions in the case and never objected to those submissions before they were made in court. To the chairman, he said that the chairman, more than anyone else, is aware of the actual sequence of events and the lack of veracity in the allegations made. He said, in fact, upon reading the press release, he reached out to the chairman immediately to inquire if it was originated from the GECOM office and to urge that it be retracted. He implored that it be replaced with a statement acknowledging the falsity of the contents. He said the chairman even said to him that she would tell them to take it down. Unfortunately, he noted, no corrective action has been taken. The attorney said all of his pleadings and written submissions in the court matter were submitted to the chairman, the chief election officer, and the commissioners at GECOM long before they were presented in the case and before his job appraisal was concluded. He said the content of his legal submission could not have been a surprise to GECOM, when for several months he had apprised both the chairman and the commission about the issues regarding the electoral laws, even prior to the case being filed. He said he alerted the chairman of GECOM and the commission to the constitutional requirement that voters in regional Democratic Council elections must reside in their respective regions, and that he further observed that due to the 2022 amendments to the National Registration Act, the residency requirement would necessitate procedural changes, specifically the extraction of separate voters' lists for general and regional elections, with each list subjected to claims and objections to ensure the appropriate residency criteria, and the use of separate ballot papers for the two elections. He said the chair of GECOM did not disagree with his conclusions when it was discussed. He also said on the 25th of November last year, in a memo titled Residency Requirements for General and Regional Elections, he raised the issue again to both the chairman of the commission and the chief election officer, and it was later circulated among the commissioners. He said at no time did the chairman or any commissioner express disagreement with the memo's contents. To the contrary, he said he was made to understand from conversations with the chairman that she found his legal analysis to be sound. It was explained that after the case was filed by Carol Smith-Joseph, the chief scrutineer for the PNC reform, the application was discussed in detail, and it was he who said that it should be strenuously opposed and dismissed. However, when Smith-Joseph amended her application to the court to argue that verification of residency is also required for regional elections, De Silva said he informed the chairman of the update and pointed her once again to the Constitution. He said he cautioned that if the Chief Justice were to consider the residency issue and if she agreed with his position, GECOM would have to implement the procedural adjustments they had discussed. He said the GECOM chair's response was that they would wait and see what the Chief Justice decides. De Silva also said the affidavits in defense sworn by the CEO on the 29th of January explicitly acknowledged that the Constitution does require members of an RDC to be elected by persons residing in the region. He said to suggest that his submissions carried extreme potential for the emergence of harmful effects, including the postponement of elections beyond the constitutional deadline, is baseless and appears to be calculated to portray his submissions as reckless, when in fact the submissions were grounded in law and were intended to safeguard the integrity of the electoral process. He said a press release from GECOM presents a narrative of his conduct that is grossly at odds with reality. He said it falsely paints him as having acted negligently, unprofessionally, and contrary to GECOM's interest, when the truth is that he devoted himself to upholding the law and protecting the Commission's integrity. Noting that the unfounded statements have already begun to tarnish his reputation, Attorney De Silva in his letter to the chairman demanded an apology for the false and misleading allegations in the release to be rescinded. He has given the GECOM chair an April 22 ultimatum, warning that failure to heed to his demands would result in legal action. In a separate letter to the Chief Election Officer, De Silva addressed another press statement, which was issued on the 20th of March, and which, according to him, was laced with inaccuracies with regard to his submissions in the very case. He is also demanding a retraction of that statement and an apology from the Chief Election Officer. De Silva served GECOM as its legal counsel for 3 years and was praised for his work at the Commission, even receiving a job appraisal score of 98%. He previously worked as a counsel for the Caribbean Court of Justice. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Keeping up with the kids' growth spurts might mean it's time for a bigger fridge. Don't worry, at Quartz, we've got you. Save up to $50,000 on select fridges. Get a free grill or mixer with select stoves and more. Need to upgrade your home? Get smart TVs from as low as $32,999. Plus, shop today and pay later. And make your first payment in 30 days with Quartz Ready Finance. Whatever you need, we've got you. Only at Quartz, bringing value home. Offer ends April 23, 2025.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of mobile lubricants.
Looking for a new ride? Then check out the all-new Honda HR-V at Marex. When you buy a new vehicle, it's 0 miles, 0 worries. Plus, you get awesome features that will make your ride smooth and comfortable. The HR-V interior design has controls at your fingertip with great space and maneuverability. The all-new Honda HR-V is a beauty. Drive one today. Visit our website or call us on 226-1482 to learn more. Buy your brand new Honda vehicle from Marex, the home of Honda in Guyana.
Welcome back. The fourth session for the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent opened today in New York, with Guyana's Minister of Labour Joe Hamilton telling world leaders at the UN that the government of Guyana is taking decisive action to advance the development of the people of Guyana. Minister Hamilton said the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent not only represents an opportunity for global leaders to advance the calls for reparatory justice in the age of artificial intelligence, but also for nations to share their experiences. He said in Guyana, the development of Afro-Guyanese and Guyanese in general is a priority for the government of Guyana.
Development of Afro-Guyanese and Guyanese as a whole in Guyana, multi-ethnic nation, is a priority for my government. We have embarked on a transformative agenda which is rapidly changing the economic and physical infrastructure of the country. This is deliberately matched with initiatives that ensure greater inclusion and participation of all citizens in the goods, services, and opportunities available to reduce poverty, geographic disparity, ethnic insecurities, and inequality.
Minister Hamilton also told the forum that in the area of education, the government is providing free education from nursery to university, with thousands of Guyanese reaping the benefits.
In terms of the right of education and human resource development, the Guyana Online Academy of Learning has awarded thousands of scholarships over the last 4 years, providing free online education. This is aimed at creating a modern workforce, including by facilitating access for residents of rural and remote areas. As of this year, free education at our territory level is now offered to all Guyanese. An annual cash grant is given to every child from nursery to secondary levels. Technical vocational education and training is free at all technical institutes, thus making more people skilled and employable.
And citing another example, he pointed to the housing sector and explained that as part of its national housing program, the government of Guyana has distributed over 40,000 house lots, benefiting more than 200,000 people.
Notably, 43% of the owners are women. No ethnic group is excluded. In addition, several subsidies are provided for low-income households, such as mortgage relief at low interest rates.
Hamilton said as the government intensifies its efforts at transforming the lives of Guyanese, it is cognizant that artificial intelligence has the potential to significantly aid development. However, he said it is important for the digital gap between developed and developing countries to be narrowed. He explained that Guyana will therefore continue to advocate for digital justice, even as it continues to advance the fight for reparatory justice. Guyana is also being represented at the forum by its permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Karen Rodriguez-Burkett, as well as delegations from the Ethnic Relations Commission and the International Decade of People for African Descent Assembly, Guyana. The event is being hosted under the theme Africa and People of African Descent, united for reparatory justice in the age of artificial intelligence. Systemic inequality, racial discrimination, and reparatory justice are among crucial issues that ought to be addressed during the second International Decade for People of African Descent. That's according to the Secretary General of CARICOM, Dr. Carla Barnett. She made those comments while she addressed the fourth session of the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent at the United Nations headquarters today. Dr. Barnett said for the global African community, those issues remain a top priority, and CARICOM will continue to champion the need for recognition, justice, and development for people of African descent.
The second International Decade for People of African Descent provides renewed impetus to advance CARICOM's own reparations agenda for repair, justice, and development of people of African descent, as well as for our indigenous peoples. It is an opportunity to confront the consequences of European colonization and enslavement, and to call attention to the enduring legacies of these historical injustices.
The CARICOM chair also said the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent is taking place at a time when Haiti, a country in crisis, is still without reparation.
Reparations for Haiti continues to be central to CARICOM's reparations claim. April 2025 marks the bicentenary of the indemnity of 150 million francs imposed on Haiti by France as reparations for loss of property, including enslaved Africans, as a precondition for recognizing the island's independence.
And she also said the negative economic and social effects of the historical injustice are painfully clear, with arguable links to the situation in Haiti today. While commending the Permanent Forum for placing the spotlight on Haiti, Dr. Barnett said this anniversary presents an opportunity to bring global attention and a deeper understanding of the situation in Haiti. She said it also serves as a call to action to address the ongoing security, humanitarian, and governance crisis in that country. The fourth session of the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent, she said, not only coincides with the second International Decade for People of African Descent, but it is also being held at a time when the African Union is observing 2025 as the year for justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. In 2024, CARICOM heads of government expressed their full support for increased collaboration and participation by the region in the meetings and the work of the Permanent Forum. The CARICOM Secretary General said the CARICOM Reparation Commission, in particular, stands ready to collaborate with the Permanent Forum to advance material improvements for the people of African descent. The regional bloc has also been working closely with the African Union, and later this year in September will participate in the second CARICOM African Union Summit in Ethiopia. Back in Guyana, a small group of Afro-Guyanese picketed in front of the Parliament buildings today to register their objection to the presence of the chairman of the Ethnic Relations Commission, Sheikh Manul Haq, at the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent, which opened today at the UN headquarters in New York. The group, which included Afro-Guyanese drawn from different organizations, including the International Decade for People of African Descent Assembly Guyana and the General Workers Union, strongly objected to Haq, an Indo-Guyanese representing Afro-Guyanese at the Permanent Forum. Elton McRae, who was among those on the picket line, questioned why Commissioner Ras Kafra is not representing the ERC at the Permanent Forum.
Can't Africans represent themselves at these forums, or is it that the ERC is going there to propagate government lies about what they are doing for the African community? So they cannot be speaking for us. Mr. Ak is not speaking in my name.
Adding his voice to the issue, Royston Peters told news source that he's of the opinion that the chairman of the ERC is not sufficiently apprised of the issues confronting Afro-Guyanese in Guyana, and is therefore unfit to represent Afro-Guyanese at the fourth session of the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. He said the forum is taking place at the start of the second International Decade of People of African Descent, and Afro-Guyanese should have been appropriately represented.
Mr. Haq or the ERC is not sufficiently aware of the issues that we have been fighting to correct in this country. So he's ill-prepared to represent any of us at the forum. He can't speak for us. As a matter of fact, he was there at one of already forum, I think he the first or the second, and he totally misrepresented the fact. He said at the forum that Africans in Guyana were okay. Everything's all right with us. That's a total lie.
He said through a democratic process in the National Assembly, Ras Kaffir was nominated and subsequently appointed to represent the Afro-Guyanese community on the ERC, and therefore should have been given the opportunity to be present at the forum on behalf of the ERC.
And I am really upset because I find that for something that affects us, this is the forum for people of African descent. And I feel that at such a forum, we should be representing ourselves. We should not have anyone of another ethnicity representing us. If it were an issue that affected the Guyanese nation as a whole, that would have been acceptable because, you know, we can represent the country. Anybody can. But when it comes to something that's specific to African people, I think it's only fair that we should represent ourselves and not have anybody else represent us. Because this came off of the decade for people of African descent. And we're now promised a second decade because in the first decade, nothing much was achieved, if at all.
And Norris Witter, who is representing the trade union movement on the ERC, said he was nominated to represent the ERC at the permanent forum, but he declined the nomination because he felt it reprehensible for the ERC chair to lead the delegation. And secondly, out of concern that the government was bearing part of the cost for the trip. He said as an independent organization, the ERC should have took on the cost for the entire trip to attend the permanent forum. Addressing the issue of today's opening of the permanent forum, the ERC said at a statutory meeting back in January, Norris Witter and Ashton Simon were nominated to represent the ERC at the forum. However, both Witter and Simon withdrew. The ERC said it stands committed to promoting harmony and good relations among all the citizens of Guyana.
VIP Lounge presents the ultimate VIP experience, Rupununi Rodeo 2025.
Down by the river on a Friday night, pyramid of cans in the pale moonlight.
The ultimate VIP experience. Grab your crew and enjoy privileged view of the rodeo arena, bar with exclusive service, covered area, bathroom with easy access, music by all Latin top DJs, and access to the after party until sunrise. Admission exclusive VIP Cameroons 10,000, VIP General 5,000. For more information and ticket location, call 592-683-9423. For reservations, call 592-704-9104. VIP Lounge, VIP Experience at the Rupununi Rodeo, April 18th, 19th, and 20th, 2025.
Caribbean girl, me know for tick, me know for top, yeah. Man, I watch my body like say them, I watch a match, yeah. Anything you say, them girl, I do it like it's tax. But make my own money like the girl, she move with trap. Classy.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Need small appliance for your kitchen? Giftland have it. Need fridge or stove? Giftland have it. Speakers or laptop? Giftland have it. I'm telling you, Giftland have everything. And don't get me started on TVs. 58-inch, 65-inch, 70-inch, 75-inch. All sizes in leading brands. Best thing about it, they give in warranty. Man, Giftland is the place for all your electronics purchases.
Washi. Hi people, washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks for Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright. Have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Wash your soap powder, wash clothes so nice. Wash your soap powder, leave your clothes color bright. Wash your soap powder, have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
Buster presenting the new 500 milliliter. Wow, Buster flavorful. Make every meal better. Grab a Buster for drink, Buster move. Taste this. 500 ml, that's it. Buster for this, that's cool. Buster 500 milliliter is a brand new choice of my drink with my food. Vibing every munch, that's smooth. Introducing the new Buster 500 milliliter. Grab a bottle with your lunch today.
Guyana Bartica Regatta 2025 is here and is bigger than ever. On Sunday, April 20th, witness high-speed powerboat action at Golden Beach featuring the best in the game, Randy Bell, Dave Scott and Team Shivraj battling for glory. Easter Saturday, the stage is set for the dazzling Miss Regatta pageant and the electrifying mega show featuring Lady Lava, Calvin Burnett, Freedom Boss, and many more. Don't miss Easter Monday grand finale with beach parties, football, and non-stop vibes. This event is powered by Bartica Regatta Committee, Government of Guyana, BK International Group of Companies, G Mining Ventures, ETK Inc., Banks DIH, One Communications, and Ansi McCall.
The Ministry of Housing's Dream Realized House Lot Allocation exercise on the west bank of the Demerara descended into some chaos today, as hundreds of persons flogged the exercise after learning that they were dealing with applications that were submitted up to late last year. Allocations were handed out for low, moderate, middle, and high-income house lots at Plantation Lorenzo and Viva La Force on the New Wills Housing Development Area. Speaking during the allocation exercise, Minister in the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez, said the ministry had opened up the allocation process to everyone who had applied for house lots in the region up to December of last year, in an effort to clear the backlog.
And that's why we haven't limited ourselves to 50,000 lots. But we said that we will open it up to all of those who have applied in all of the regions except Region 4, where we have the majority of the housing demand, which is obvious because that's the most populated region. But in all the other regions, we will address the backlog.
The minister said similar exercises will be done in other regions except in Region 4, where the demand is very high. Housing Minister Colin Crowell also noted that over 9,000 house lots were allocated in Region 3 over the last 5 years. He said there is also a high rate of new applicants in the system for the region.
Similarly, after today, all of the pending applicants prior to December 31st, 2024 will receive a letter or will have available a letter that commits that we will allocate by July all pending applicants, or offer I should say, because it's an offer, it's for you to accept. We will offer by July, end of July, all other pending applicants who are December 31, 2024 applicants and prior.
Further, the minister assured that infrastructural works will be completed in some West Bank housing schemes before the end of the year.
We have injected in Wales infrastructure works alone for Wales, that's housing, $10.5 billion. To ensure that our commitment is met, you will be accessing your land before the end of 2025, and the infrastructure first phase will also be completed.
Minister Crowell said today's allocation in the region has brought his ministry's total allocations to almost 45,000 house lot distributions since 2020. The investigative team from the Regional Security System joined the investigator from the Police Office of Professional Responsibility over the weekend in visits to Linden and the scene of the 2 police shooting deaths. Last Monday, 21-year-old Ronaldo Peters was shot dead by a police sergeant, and the following day, 32-year-old Keon Fudgene was also shot dead by the police during the protest that erupted in the town over the shooting death of Peters. During the visit on Saturday, the investigators met and held discussions with the families of the two men, and they returned on Sunday for further talks with the families and eyewitnesses. The meetings with the families on Sunday were done in the presence of the attorneys, now looking into the interests of the two families. The families are hoping and pushing for justice to be done in the case, and for the two policemen responsible for the two deaths to face the courts. Post-mortem examinations conducted last Friday found that both men died from single gunshot wounds. Peters was shot to the abdomen, while Fudgenet was shot to the head. In the case of 21-year-old Ronaldo Peters, after he was chased down by the police sergeant who was dressed in plain clothes and arrived in an unmarked bus, the injured youth was dragged and dumped in the back of a bus. The bus was driven around the Wisma area before eventually going to the Wisma police station. At that station, there are reports that the young man was bleeding out and slipping in and out of consciousness. He was then transferred to a police vehicle from the private bus and then taken to the Mackenzie Hospital. But it was too late by then. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. In a series of Berbice public meetings over the weekend, which began in New Amsterdam and ended in Skeldon, President Fanali has promised massive development for the East Berbice region, which he told residents will take place within the next year. The president said while Berbice has already been seeing changes, manufacturing, businesses, and other opportunities that will go to the region will change its outlook. He said port facilities, oil and gas facilities, and the deepwater harbor are on the cards for the region. And he believes more jobs and opportunities will be created.
The opportunities that will be created with the deepwater port, the gas facility, the energy, the new power plant, the substations, hundreds, billions of dollars that will be invested to create a modern industrial manufacturing economic zone here in Region 6, bringing international businesses that must partner with your private sector here to create opportunities, create jobs, and expand the economy of Region 6. That is the plan we are on.
The president said the government will also invest heavily in infrastructure in the Berbice region. While in Skeldon, he promised an all-weather trail from Molson Creek to Siparatu, where he noted thousands of acres of land will be developed. In addition, Berbicians are encouraged to look forward to more training facilities being commissioned.
Region 6 Berbice is going to be the technical training capital of Guyana, the Caribbean and further field. We are not investing more than $150 million in the National Oil and Gas Training Center and the Tourism and Hospitality Training Institute for nothing. We're investing that because it is going to be an international training hub that will bring people to this country, that will be linked to Suriname and linked to the international community so that your region would have an international stature.
President Ali said while the government has those plans in place for Berbice, Berbicians must not become complacent and play with their future.
We have a future ahead of us, but we can also destroy that future by being selfish. We can destroy that future by being ungrateful. We can destroy that future by being opportunistic. We can destroy that future by being naive. This is not about me.
The Berbice region is a stronghold of the governing PPP, and although no election date has been announced, the president and members of his government have been fanning out across the region and other parts of the country in full campaign style. Police detectives have launched an investigation into the murder of a 54-year-old Cuban national who was found dead early on Sunday morning at Melanie Market Street on the east coast of Demerara. The man has been identified as Jose Aurelio Ramirez. He reportedly lived in the same area. A police crime patrol was in the area on Sunday morning when they noticed an ambulance to the side of the roadway and opted to investigate. In the ambulance, the police found the Cuban man receiving medical assistance for multiple stab wounds and slashes across his body. The man was pronounced dead at the scene, and the Cuban woman who was with him in the ambulance was questioned and is assisting with the investigations. The woman had no marks of violence on her body. The police said a suspect has since been arrested as the investigations are ongoing. The matter is being investigated as a robbery and a murder.
A powerful movement is coming to shift Guyana, the Guyana we know as the breadbasket of the Caribbean. It's the land of many waters. It's the land of 6 races, all unified under God. Hope is rising, a call to prayer, a celebration of unity and peace and God's grace on all Guyana. Hope is Rising is returning after many years and will feature global sensation Sherwin Gardner and Emrand Henry, along with top Guyanese gospel artists and musicians.
These things they are making me stronger. I come to you with my arms wide open. If my pillow could speak, it would tell you how I will.
You're invited to Hope is Rising, a global 24-hour prayer culminating with an evening of worship and praise with Christian leaders standing together on May 9th at the National Cultural Center. All tickets are free and registration is required. Seats are limited, so book now. Christian leaders, gospel artists, churches, and people of Guyana from all regions. We urge you to come together to celebrate and pray to God for this great nation. Hope is rising, and God is pleased.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Yeah, you already know it's yours truly, Nali Katoy, the queen of zest.
If you take people, man, clap your hand, boy. If you take people, man, clap your hand,
Wait, Bobby?
Hi, Granny.
You know the Nelly song?
How you mean? Plus, she coming for a creek explosion Sunday, April 20th.
Creek explosion? Which creek? And is who bringing she?
The creek by Splash Main, Aziza Akusa, and his Team Extra bringing she.
Team Extra? Let me call Freddie.
Hello, Granny.
Hi, bye.
What going on?
You bringing Nelly Kataya? You even put me on the show? Like you was a kunumunu or what?
Don't say fat, you're booking you now.
Galang, Granny.
Let me see the flyer. Oh, female dancing competition over 160,000 given away. Plus male dance off for one motorbike.
Music by Bobby Kush, DJ Magnum, DJ Garwin, David Hype, and Papa Feelings.
I giddy up and get your early bird tickets for $2,000 at Team Extra Stabrook Market. Just your size boutique, White Castle Fish Shop, and Fireside Sweets. Creek Explosion, compliments of Fireside and Team Extra. Giddy up.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. The heads of government of the Caribbean community CARICOM are deeply concerned by recent reports that a coalition of criminal gangs is threatening to seize power and compel a change in the governance arrangements in Haiti at this time. It said the situation is completely unacceptable. In a statement on Sunday, CARICOM said it strongly condemns any attempt to replace the transitional arrangements by force and violence. It said the arrangements were put in place by Haitian stakeholders to pave the way for free and fair elections by February 7, 2026, and to return Haiti to constitutional authority. Moreover, any further organized violence will only exacerbate the existing humanitarian crisis, CARICOM said. The International Organization on Migration, IOM, reported that in mid-January of this year, there were 1,041,000 internally displaced Haitians, some of whom are already risking their lives in attempting to leave by any means necessary. Over the last month alone, close to 60,000 Haitians have been displaced. Sitting center-right President Daniel Noboa has won the runoff rung of Ecuador's presidential election, meaning he will now serve a full 4-year term. Noboa, who described his victory as historic, has only been in power since November 2023 after winning a snap election. He has defined his presidency so far through a tough military crackdown on violent criminal gangs in the country, which has become the most violent in the region. His left-wing challenger, Luisa Gonzalez, said she did not accept the result and claimed fraud without providing evidence. According to figures from Ecuador's National Electoral Council, this is a decisive win for Noboa, with about 56% of the vote, after polls before the election suggested it was neck and neck. Noboa's win means he has a mandate to continue his self-described war on criminal drug gangs, which has included militarizing Ecuador's streets and prisons and constructing new maximum security prisons. He recently told the BBC he wanted foreign armies from places such as the US and Europe to join his fight against gangs in the country. And finally tonight, international news. Donald Trump says Chinese-made smartphones and other electronics will not be exempt from tariffs, adding they are simply moving into a different levy bucket, according to the BBC. European stock markets bounced up on Monday morning after Friday's official announcement that some of these products would escape levies of up to 145%. China has called on Donald Trump to completely cancel his tariffs regime and return to the right path of mutual respect. However, U.S. officials said on Sunday that products would be subject to a semiconductor tariff instead, with Trump expected to reveal more details later. U.S. Commerce Secretary said the new levy would be in addition to a host of global tariffs the U.S. imposed earlier this month, then paused for 90 days. On Saturday, a U.S. custom notice revealed smartphones, computers, and other electronic devices would be excluded from the 125% tariff on goods entering the country from China. But Trump chimed in on social media, saying there was no exemption for these products and called such reports about this notice false. Instead, he said they are just moving to a different tariff bucket. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.